This is week 10 of On Top the Cage. Introduction is probably not necessary. However, of course, my co-host Dan, I am Ken. It is our traditional Wednesday. It happens to be a holiday.
Yeah. Veterans Day. Thank you for your service, veterans.
Absolutely. It is the land of the free because of your braveness. We thank all current and past military personnel. Hey, we got something fun this week. We got the Masters in November.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what Augusta National looks like in the fall. I guess it's the fall. It's getting cold here. They're going to be azaleas?
I don't know. You never know what they'll pull out at the Masters. I guarantee there won't be leaves.
Right. Well, there's going to be pine straw. Pine straw probably everywhere.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
I'm interested to see what the golf course looks like. They call it a tradition like no other. It's certainly going to be a different tradition this year.
I don't know why they're not having fans.
Yeah, no
You're
fans.
outside. Come on.
Have you ever had a pimento cheese sandwich?
No.
Me neither. It doesn't sound good. I don't know. I'm talking about this for a long time. I saw something today. Tiger was a defending champion of the Masters. The first time he won, he was 21. He came back when he was 22, and they have that champions dinner the night before. When he was 22, the menu was cheeseburgers, fries, and milkshakes. Now he's the defending champ, and it's like sushi and steak and everything else. His tastes have changed. But in any event, it is Veterans Day. We talked about the Masters a little bit. We're on to some football. We should do our beer review first. This week's beer review, yes. The Lagerheads Brewing Company out of Medina, Ohio. Their Christmas offering is called Winter Mischief. I'm not terribly impressed by the can presentation. Green top, red bottom. It says it's an amber ale brewed with honey and spices. But apparently it's got some alcohol content. You see the bottom of it?
That's where the mischief comes in.
Yeah, 8% alcohol. We'll try this one. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of citrus, I feel like, in this. I'm used to the Christmas beers being more piney and nutty or
Well, this is. I don't know how they got that much alcohol in this. I mean, to me, this is like a lighter version of Christmas ale.
Yeah, it does feel pretty, well, I guess not with the alcohol content, but we'll find out for sure. It's certainly, below masthead.
Slay all day. That's still number one.
That was really good. I don't know how we're going to knock that one from its perch, but this is round 2 of probably what will be 8 of these Christmas beer testings. In any event, on to the football, like I said earlier. Last week, we're in a midseason slump. Yeah, not good. I went 4-10. Dan went 5-9. Cumulative records to date. I am 68, 62, and 3 plus 6. Dan is 66, 64, and 3 plus 2, venturing on the 500 line. We'll certainly try to do better in regards to this. I know last week.
Yeah, what did you say last week? You wanted to go 30-0 or something? Or
well, yeah.
What happened? What the hell?
At the halfway,
you got slayed all day.
At the halfway point, I was 12 games plus. My goal was to be 18 plus on the back half of the season, making myself plus 30. That seems a little aggressive at this point in time. I think Dan already met his goal. I think his goal was to drink another one of those masthead beers, which I think he accomplished. So he's there with his goal. All right, on to the football. Thursday night, the Indianapolis Colts, they travel to play the Tennessee Titans. It is an AFC South battle. The Titans are -2. The over-under on this game is 48. Let's start with the Colts. They lost to Baltimore last week. Their defense is still good. Did you see Rivers try to make that tackle on?
Oh yeah, that was awful.
God.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that is a come on, man. Talk about laying over. In any event, the Tennessee Titans, they played my Chicago Bears. The Bears are certainly regressing, and we'll talk about them. I wasn't terribly impressed by them. They can't rush the passer. They did get in on the Bears a few times simply because the Bears' offensive line is in shambles. This division is going to be decided over the next 3 weeks because they play each other this week. They have different opponents next week. They play each other again in Indianapolis the following week. Who do you like in this game, Dan?
I'm going to go with Tennessee because they're at home and that line's so small. A lot of emotion. This is first place in the division, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or we could be tied if Indy wins, but I think Tennessee comes out on top at home.
The Colts are 5-3. Dan mentioned their records. The Titans are 6-2. Yeah, this is a crucial game. I don't recall the last Thursday night game I won. I am going the other direction. I like the Colts defense better. The Titans just haven't shown me enough. I mean, 2 weeks ago they lost, or they didn't lose. They won that game in Cincinnati, right? They won the game in Cincinnati at the end, but they weren't impressive at all. They weren't impressive to me against the Bears. I do like the Colt defense. I'm going to go with the Colts. I'm going to take the points. The Sunday 1 o'clock games. We'll start with the Philadelphia Eagles. They're 3-4-1, first place record. Go to play the New York Giants. The Giants are 2-7. The Eagles are 3.5-point favorites. Eagles are coming off bye. The Giants won a game in Washington last week. The Eagles, they are off bye. They've struggled all year. Wentz hasn't played well. I'm kind of wondering where Jalen Hurts is in this equation.
Yeah, with all the injuries and stuff, I think I would be playing him somewhere. You know, he can catch, I'm assuming. He can run the ball.
I think
hand him the ball.
I think the regime is fearful of kind of like not necessarily pulling the plug, but shaking Wentz's confidence. But at some point in time, this has to happen. I mean,
put him a tailback. Let him run it.
They could. There's different.
Why not?
He could be a Swiss Army knife type person. Like I said,
he's an athlete.
He is an athlete. I like him. I liked him coming out of Alabama, Oklahoma. Is obviously two different schools he played for. The Giants won a game in Washington. Daniel Jones, 4-0 against Washington. He's 1-16 against all other teams he's played in his career. I don't know how exactly that stacks up. The Eagles are -3.5. I had said a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't do it. I'm going to do it this week. I'm going to take the points. I don't like giving points to anybody in this division. I'm going to take the Giants in the 3.5.
I think I'm taking the Giants too. I think they string two together here. They played 2 weeks ago, that Monday night game. They looked good.
Tighten up that division.
They're getting a little bit better. Tighten up the worst division that we got going here in the NFL. So I'm going with the Giants as well on this.
Fair enough. Jacksonville Jaguars. They travel to play the Green Bay Packers. The Jaguars are 1-7. The Packers are 6-2. The line on this game is the Green Bay Packers -13. The over/under is 51.5. The Jags last week, they ended up losing their game. They started the rookie quarterback Jake Luton. He didn't look too bad. They continue to have that rookie, undrafted rookie out of Illinois State, James Robinson, toting the rock for them. He's doing pretty well. The Packers are an absolute offensive juggernaut, though.
Yeah.
They really are. They got beat up, or they beat up the Niners last week pretty good on Thursday Night Football. I'll take the lead. I'm going to lay all the points. I'm going to lay the 13 with the Packers. I just don't see it. There's just too much offensive firepower on that Packer football team.
I'm going with the Packers too on this one. The Jags, they're with the Jets. They're not a football team.
No, it's difficult to. The Jaguars obviously going through transition. They're probably looking at a new quarterback at the top of the draft next year.
Probably.
Yeah. If you don't have a quarterback, you can't play in this league. So yeah, that's I'm sure that's the way where they're going. The next game, another fairly unappealing game. The Washington football team. They got to play the Detroit Lions. The Washington football team is 2-6. The Lions are one better than them at 3-5. The line is Detroit -4. The Washington football team is now run by Alex Smith. Kyle Allen went down last week. I have a question about that, though. I mean, it's not like they're out of the division, but how bad does Dwayne Haskins have to be not to play him right now?
Oh, he wasn't even on the active roster.
I mean, he was, a second-round pick?
Was he second or late first round?
Maybe late first. I don't know. But how do you not play him? I mean, this team's going nowhere. How do you not see if something happens? And maybe he won't get into the playbook. Maybe he won't study. I don't know what the problem is, but I just don't see how you don't play Haskins. The other side of this thing, the Detroit Lions, they lost to the Vikings last week. They don't seem to be progressing. I mean, I think Patricia's job is certainly
they're
in doubt here.
They're a mess. I'll tell you right now, I'm going with Washington Redskins, or the team from Washington, or whatever you call them, just because Alex Smith is playing. First legitimate start since that devastating injury. I think he comes out and he makes them guys better. I look for them to win by
Or get under the number. Yeah, the Lions are favored by 4 in this game. Dan likes it to either the Washington football team to win or get under that number. Another indictment, I talked about Patricia. Dalvin Cook had a 70-yard run against him last week. They had 10 men on the field. That's inexcusable. I mean, it's just inexcusable. You can't put everything on the head coach. Obviously, you have an entire coaching staff, but it's another indictment against Patricia. I think he's certainly in trouble. I would be shocked if there's not a new leader of the Detroit Lions next year. With that being said, I'm going to take the Lions minus the 4. I like Stafford. They got a fairly good offense. We'll see how that game shakes out. Next game up, Houston Texans. They come north to play your Cleveland Browns. The Browns are off bye. The Texans are a 2-6 football team. The Browns are 5-3. Browns get Chubb back this week.
Yes, sir.
Who's going to show up, though? The good Browns or the bad Browns?
The good Browns are showing up, coming out of the bye. Romeo Crennel, interim coach, coming back to Cleveland. Did like him when he was here. Can't knock Rack. But I just think the Browns, they put it together here. Even though Baker, had the COVID thing, he was in isolation until today.
Right, yeah, he's the contact tracing. Yeah. He doesn't have COVID. He's playing. I like their backup too, but Case Keenum, right. I think he's a serviceable player certainly, but I don't think it's going to come to fruition with that. I also like the Browns minus the 3, and as Dan put it together a little bit, although they've been an up and down team certainly this year. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they travel north to play the Carolina Panthers. The Bucs are 6-3. The Panthers are the exact opposite at 3-6. The line is the Buccaneers minus 4.5. Let's talk about the Buccaneers first. They actually got demolished.
They're a mess. And we'll see now. It's week 2 of Antonio Brown, so he didn't get the ball,
That game was Sunday night, and we all have jobs. It gets late. Dan last week, I think the direct quote was, "Sissy-ass cannon guy."
Yeah.
I was waiting for the
fire. I know.
I'm like, I told my son, turn it on. I want to hear this cannon guy. They're going to score here at some point. They never scored. I went to bed. Right. I woke up. I was happy. I'm like, they didn't score. They didn't get a garbage time touchdown to hear this cannon thing. So I guess we got to wait another week. I'm assuming we'll hear. Well, they're away, so we won't hear the cannon. We got to wait for the cannon still. The Panthers are coming off 3 losses. Christian McCaffrey's declared out again. It looks like tough break for that kid just after coming back from his ankle injury. I like the Buccaneers in this game at minus 4.5. Brady did throw 3 picks. I mean, they just looked horrible against New Orleans last week. Everything's wrong.
Offense, defense, everything.
I'm going to go with another bounce back here, though. I'm going to lay the points of the Buccaneers at minus 4.5. It doesn't seem like a too terribly high number for me.
I'm going with the Bucs as well.
All right, very good. We got the Los Angeles Chargers. They go across the country to play the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are minus 2.5. The resurgent Dolphins in the playoff mix. Dolphins at home with their 5-3 record. The Chargers come in at 2-6. This is kind of a fun quarterback battle situation with the rookies Herbert and Tua.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to see more from Tua after 2 weeks ago. He showed up last week for sure.
Showed up last week, and the Chargers have taken the crappiest team from the Atlanta Falcons as far as it comes to blowing leads. The kid's playing his butt off, but I don't know what happens to him in the fourth quarter. The defense can't seem to stop anybody. And, with Tua, I think he's going to continue that.
I tell you what, if you're a Chargers fan, if I was a Chargers fan, I might have hung myself. They lost the last 2 weeks on the last play of the game.
Yeah,
on the last play of the game. It's crazy. This is a tough line for me. The Finns are only minus 2.5. I think they squeaked this one out by a field goal or so. I think it's a really good game. I'm going to lay the points with the Finns at minus 2.5.
I'm going with the Finns as well.
All right, very good. Oh, I missed something here already. We have very minimal 1 o'clock games. That was the start of the 4 o'clock games. There's only 5 1 o'clock games. There's 6 4 o'clock games, which is quite odd.
Yeah, that is weird.
So that was the start of the 4 o'clock games. The Denver Broncos, they go to travel to play the Las Vegas Raiders. The Broncos are 3-5. The Raiders are opposite of that, 5-3. The Raiders are coming off 2 wins in a row. They're minus 5. The over-under on this game is 51.5. They won, like I just mentioned, on the last play of the game last week against the Chargers. They're a very difficult team to predict, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you get a great showing, you get a poor showing. It's a pretty big number. It's a divisional game. Who do you like in this game, Dan?
This one's tough because I'm still not sold on the offense from the Broncos. I would think the Raiders are going to roll here, but something's I don't know. This one, divisional game. They're at Las Vegas. I think I'm going to go with the Raiders, though.
I think I am too. I was really debating taking the Broncos. I like the receiving core they put together in Denver. Drew Lock continues to be inconsistent. They didn't have exactly a great showing in Atlanta last week. I too, I'm a little nervous about it, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Raiders minus the 5 points as well. Very good game, and maybe the best game on the board, I think, this week. Coming up next, the Buffalo Bills. They travel out west to play the Arizona Cardinals. The Bills are 7-2. The Cardinals are 5-3. This line is Arizona -2. The over/under is 56, which is a boat full of points. So I guess they're expecting a shootout in this game. The Bills last week, they looked great.
Up and played, yeah.
They looked great against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
They really did.
A couple weeks before, they weren't. That wasn't the same team that we had seen.
Right. I mean, that's what makes this predicting these games so difficult, because these teams look great one week and not as much, certainly, the next week. Josh Allen has been somewhat inconsistent. He's had some great games. He's had some not so good games. The Arizona Cardinals, they lost in an absolute thriller again to Miami. They probably played the two funnest football games I watched this year. That game certainly against the Seattle Seahawks that they pulled out in I think it was overtime. And then last week, that game against the Dolphins. So they're a fun team to watch under Murray. They're -2. I'll take the lead. I'm going to lay the points at the Cardinals -2. I think they find a way to get it done. Dan struggling with this game.
I'm struggling with this one. I'm going to go with the Bills. I think that defense, they're gonna give Murray some trouble this week. I'm going to take the Bills on this one.
Yeah, I don't blame it. This is a tough game to call. It could go either way. Obviously, the line's very short at -2. I'm going to go with the home team -2. Dan and I are in disagreement once again. Next game up on the slate, the San Francisco 49ers. They go to play the New Orleans Saints. The 49ers are 4-5. The Saints are 6-2 and have complete control of that division all of a sudden, considering they've won both the games against Tampa Bay. The Saints are -9.5. The over/under on this game is 50. The 49ers can't catch a break with the injuries. I feel like it's just too much to overcome.
Yeah, the 49ers, they're just having a rough season. I mean, it's not getting any better for them. The Saints actually looked really good.
They looked great. They got their playmakers back.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas was back. Emmanuel Sanders was back. That Taysom Hill guy, I mean, Sean Payton seems like he's kind of figured out a way to deploy him a little bit better. There's a lot going on. I still like, the innovative mind of, what's the New Orleans Saints coach right now? I can't think of Sean Payton.
Payton.
Yeah, Sean Payton. I like his mind.
Defense is playing well.
Yeah, they are. I think I'm going to lay this just because San Francisco's so beat up and it's kind of a lost season. They're a very talented roster. But with the parts they have right now, it seems insurmountable to me.
Yeah.
What you going to go with me?
I'm going to go with the Saints.
All right, we're both on the Saints. We've talked about the Seahawks a little bit already. The Seattle Seahawks go play a huge football game as well, another really good football game. They go play the Los Angeles Rams. The Seahawks are 6-2. The Rams are 5-3. I mean, it's such a good division. We talk about it all the time with those two teams, as well as Arizona and obviously San Francisco. We feel like they're going to fall off the pace a little bit, not to their own fault or the talent of the roster. It's just they can't stay healthy. The Seahawks, they lost in Buffalo last week. The defense is awful.
The defense is bad.
It's awful.
It's bad.
I mean, Buffalo was up and down the field on them. They got Jamal Adams back last week. It didn't seem to make a difference. Russell Wilson, I hate the stupid thing. Russ is cooking. He burnt the toast last week. He had 4 turnovers.
That's so unlike him, though.
So unlike him.
So
Maybe
unlike
some credit
him.
to the Buffalo defense. I don't know. It is very unlike him. He's a great player. We know that. But once again, this is the polarizing team, which has a atrocious, defense and a very good offense. So with this game, I don't know if I even told everybody the line yet. The Rams are -1.5. I'm not sure they should be. The over/under on this game is 55.5. It's a lot of points. The Rams are off bye. They're another team. Who knows what you get with this team? But what I like is Sean McVay having 2 weeks to prepare for the Seattle Seahawks, and I like the Ram defense better. I'm nervous about it, but I'm going to lay the short line at the 1.5. I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams.
I like Russell Wilson after his not so stellar performance, and Pete Carroll going back to L.A. Where he was a criminal with USC. I'm going with the Seahawks.
All right, fair enough. I mean, it's a really good game, and I mean, if Seattle loses that game, it's okay. They're both 6-3. If the Rams lose that game, they're in big trouble to actually win that division. All right, the Cincinnati Bengals, they're going to go to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. AFC North game. The Steelers are 7.5-point favorites. The Bengals come into town at 2-5-1. The Steelers are the only undefeated National Football League team left. Now we both like Burrow, but there's not a whole lot there outside of that. I think they get Mixon back this week, which is a good thing for them.
Still got that Steelers defense, and that's what saved them last week, in my opinion.
It certainly did. I mean,
even though Garrett Gilbert played a hell of a freaking football game for coming in off the practice squad from the Browns to the Cowboys, so maybe that's why you knew about the Steelers.
That was a damn good football game. It really was. That was a very entertaining game. It's funny. It's not funny, but the Steelers have defended the goal line the last 2 weeks on the last play of the game where they could have lost.
Yeah.
Baltimore and then Dallas, as you mentioned just a minute ago. This line's 7.5. I'm going to let you take the lead.
Man, I wish I wouldn't have taken the lead on this. I just think the Steelers are too much for the Bengals to handle. Is this the first time they've played or the second time?
I don't think
they've
played
yet. This is the first time?
I think so.
Yeah, so Burrow's going to Pittsburgh for the first. I'm going with the Steelers on this one.
I'm going the other way. The Steelers have been playing really close games. They're not that they played down to their competition, 2 weeks ago in Baltimore. Baltimore's a very good football team that is still trying to put it together on offense this year. They certainly played down to their competition last week in regards to the Dallas Cowboys. I like this game to be closer than 7.5.
Do we know what was Alan Ben? Is he better?
Who?
Roethlisberger.
Oh, he's fine.
His vagina's better?
Yes. He is off of, I don't know if he's off the cover list. He had contact tracing.
But he was hurt in that Dallas game.
He doesn't have chlamydia or anything else Dan is talking about, so I think he's fine. So I think Big Ben certainly plays. We're getting off the rails here a little bit, but that's what's fun about this show. So that is the end of the Sunday slate. The next game up on Sunday Night Football is the Baltimore Ravens, who are 6-2. They go play the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 3-5. This line is the Baltimore Ravens -7. I'm going to talk about the Ravens first. They showed up in the second half against Indianapolis. They did not show up in the first half.
No.
They had 55 yards of offense, and I don't know what's going on there. And we talked about Lamar not looking like MVP Lamar and all this other stuff. They got it going in the second half. The Patriots, they played on Monday night. They're very lucky that the paper airplanes didn't get their first win.
Yeah, that was scary.
Well, they were down by 10 in the fourth quarter. They are playing at Gillette at night. It's a difficult place to play, especially if you have fans. You don't. I'll take the lead. I'm gonna lay the Ravens -7. I don't think the Patriots are a good football team.
I don't think the Patriots are good either. But
what do you think?
Bill Belichick is there, but he doesn't play.
He doesn't have Tom Brady anymore.
He doesn't, and Cam definitely struggled. I mean, he completed passes. His numbers were okay, but nothing. They don't have anybody to stretch the field on that defense. I'm going with the Ravens, too, on that one.
We're both in agreement on the Ravens. The Jets did almost screw up the number 1 draft pick last week and throw it in the mix. They did not. They found a way to lose at the end, as they do. Monday Night Football, probably not a lot of interest to a lot of football fans. It is of great interest to me. The Minnesota Vikings, they go to play the Chicago Bears in Soldier Field. The Vikings are 3-5. The Bears are 5-4. Let's talk about the Vikings first. They've won 2 in a row.
Dalvin Cook has totally changed that team. But you take away him, they're one-dimensional. I mean, what are they going to
do? They are a little bit one-dimensional. And you mentioned Dalvin Cook, and he's the heartbeat of the team, certainly. He's one of the top 2 running backs in the league, maybe with him and Henry, in my opinion. The Bears. Oh, the Bears. By the way, the line on this game, and I was shocked when I saw it come out of Vegas on Tuesday morning. The Vikings are -3 in Soldier Field. Like, I'm embarrassed for my football team a little bit. The Bears have a really good defense. They do. And the offense is absolutely putrid right now. I know they had issues with the offensive line. I think they're going to get a couple of those players back, one of them being a backup, Spriggs. Hopefully they get Cody Whitehair back. Hopefully the offensive line is back in shape, but the offense is atrocious. And I think Matt Nagy, the coach of Chicago Bears, won't declare it yet, but I think he's going to give up play calling this week. And I think it's going to be either DeFilippo or Bill Razor, who DeFilippo is the quarterback's coach.
Yeah,
and
he's with the Browns. I know him.
And Razor is the offensive
coordinator. Give it to the other guy.
The other thing with this game.
Wait, you have an offensive coordinator, and you're debating whether you should give it to the quarterback's coach or the offensive coordinator you hired?
Yeah,
Nagy should be fired.
Nagy did it Nagy was not the offensive coordinator in Kansas City when Andy Reid gave it to him. So I don't know. I don't know who calls it. I think a change is there.
I can call it from my garage. Run the freaking ball, throw it to
the
tight end.
They can't run the ball. The offensive line is terrible. They do have table. They need to get Cole Kmet more involved.
Run it.
One thing I saw a stat this week. Kirk Cousins is 0-9 on Monday Night Football. I'll let you take the lead. It's my football team.
I'm going with the Bears. I think the Bears defense can stop Dalvin Cook and make Kirk Cousins be the big-time player and try to win this game, which I don't think he can. So I'm going with the Bears, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. What's it? 45?
Yeah, that's low. That's low. That's low for NFL standards this year, for sure.
We're under that. It's going to be a kicker's battle in this one.
Dan's reasoning is very similar to mine. The Bears stopped Derrick Henry last week. They did. I think they held him to his lowest rush total of the year. I like them to be able to do that to Dalvin Cook as well, make them a little bit more one-dimensional, maybe get the ball bounced their way at the end of the game like it did earlier in the season, hasn't so much lately. I'm taking certainly the points. I like the Bears on the money line. I think they're going to bounce back this week. I think they go to 6-4. Dan and I are both on the Bears. That is the entire slate of the National Football League. College football.
COVID is taking over.
Yes. Well, first of all, we have a very underwhelming slate of college football this week. The SEC is almost canceled, all their games. The hometown Ohio State Buckeyes game is not postponed. It's canceled. It's off the books.
Man, we want to see the younger Tua playing.
But at least we got
on fire.
At least we got an amazing game last week. For sure, the best game of the college football season. It shook out in Dan and I's favor. We're both Notre Dame fans.
Best game of the decade.
We'll see that game, as Dan said, for the next 10 years coming. I mean, it was a tremendous football game. It was a lot of fun. There was a super spreader event with the fans on the field at the end. In any event, it was difficult to find a game to pick. Speaking of that stuff, I am now 3-2. I'm positive on the college football bonus picks. You're 2-3, fighting your way back. I chose the Indiana Hoosiers, the 10th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers, traveling to East Lansing to play the Michigan State Spartans. The line on this game is Indiana -8. I largely picked it because Dan and I, while we were watching the Notre Dame game, we were talking about Notre Dame's chances of making the playoffs and Ohio State's got a spot. Who's going to challenge him? I think the only team that may challenge is Indiana.
I don't know. Maryland with Tua. You never know.
But they got 8 COVID cases. They might not even be eligible.
Right.
Tua's little brother, who he's mentioned, who's the quarterback of the Terrapins.
Oh, yeah, I said Tua, but his little brother.
The other reason why I picked this game, they play for a cool trophy, if you will, and it is the old brass spittoon. That's fun. I don't know, how good Indiana is, if they're for real. They're -8. I'm gonna lay them. I'm gonna. They look like the only team that possibly could threaten the Buckeyes. I'm gonna lay the 8 points. Hope they continue their run. And go from there. Who do you like, Dan?
I'm going with Indiana. Michigan State just does not look good yet. New coach, Mel Tucker.
Retread coach.
Yeah, Ohio State guy, been around the league. I think he spent time with coaching with the Browns. I think Mel. I think he'll get Michigan State back
there
to where
eventually.
It was. But, first-year coach coming into college with all this COVID BS and, not being able to practice, no spring practice. But Indiana, I mean, they look like a good team and they're fun to watch. I'm going with Indiana.
They are fun to watch. I'm sure they're sky high. They've never been ranked this high, probably, I don't know, in school history. I don't know. I don't know if Lee Corso had any good teams there.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't even know that. Anyway, Dan and I are both.
We need a stat guy.
We do. I know. We're the stat guy. We do. My 12-year-old executive producer is not the stat guy. All right. Fair enough. That is everything for this week. We mentioned anything? Once again, thank you, veterans.
Yes,
for your service, for
giving us the
safe.
Opportunity to drink beer and screw around like this.
Yes. Cheers. That has been week 10 of On Top the Case. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.